my spout up to my pitcher, checking to make sure that I like where it is. I'm going to take a tool and draw around the outside of my pitcher of that spout. And then the key is that you don't want to cut there, because if you do, there will be nothing to attach your spout to. So you want to take your knife. This is where this extra sharp fettling knife really comes in handy. It works really well for this. And I'm just going to cut inside that line about 1/4 inch. If you need to draw another line, if you want something to follow, go ahead and do that if you don't think you can do it freehand. But I'm just going to cut in here. You can see how, wetting it like that really brought it back to life, but I could only do that because it was still leather hard. So I'm just going to cut this, and then I'm going to actually take a little bit of time. I've learned to do this by experience, but my spout is going to attach on right here. And so you can see inside there that the transition is a little abrupt. So what I'm going to do is with my knife, I'm going to take this edge right here and sort of bevel that back, shape that back so that there's a more sort of fluid transition for the spout. So all I'm going to do is take my nice sharp knife and cut that back and make it look pretty. You have to be a little careful. But I'm just angling this backwards, and then I'm actually going to take a little water. You don't have to do this, but it just makes a much nicer, because this is a real visible transition. It just makes a much nicer transition with your picture. And I'm rounding it off now because it's a lot easier than when you actually attach the spout. So I've got everything ready to go. Then it's just simply a matter of scoring it really thoroughly and attaching it. I've checked it several times. I checked it, when I cut it out. I checked it again when I held it up to the pot. If it's not the right shape, use a little common sense there. If it doesn't look right, it's not right. Make another one. This is a pretty quick way to make a spout. It's something that takes some practice and being able to see, just like everything. Putting my water on. Again, this is wetter than that, so I don't have to worry as much about that. But I want this to be pretty thoroughly scored so that I actually have some slip developing right there. Whatever it takes. I want that to be good and mushy. And then I'm going to gently attach those together. And again, as it dries, I can sort of work on that transition. I don't mind it showing a little bit. I think an edge there, it's a different part, so it doesn't really have to be completely smoothed into the pot as long as it looks finished. Would you grab my sponge, Becky? It's in that box there. Thank you. So as long as it's clean, it's a clean transition, I think having an edge show there is not a big problem. And then you can see on the inside, the transition between the spout and the neck is a little bit better, but I have to work and clean up that place where I've joined it. So I want to take a little bit of time and clean it up. The assignment, I believe, has you making at least one of each, and then choosing one to go with. But I'm not quite done with it just because I've got it attached. I want to maybe work on sharpening this edge just a little bit. I can also work, sometimes it comes off at too straight an angle, so I will tug it just a little bit with my finger and give it a little bit of a bend so that it's just a very gentle one, but that curve kind of echoes the curve down here, and I think it's a little more graceful than if it just comes off at a sharp angle. So play with that a little bit, and then attach the handle just like normal. You've got, I think, a picture with maybe a little bit more flair, a little more articulation. Any questions about any of that? Okay.